Our group is group 8, and we had the case of rape. Our case has taken place in Arizona and will be tried in Arizona. On January 10th, 2022, Irene Baker was asleep in her home when she was awoken by a masked man in her room. He stated, "I have a knife, do what I say, and you won't be hurt." As Irene was frightened and did not know what to do, she complied, as the man then continued to tie her hands behind her back, turn her over, and rape her. As the assault was happening, Irene noticed the knife that the intruder brought. It was next to her pillow, and she described it as a long, slender knife, almost like a scalpel. After the assault, the man took off the sheets on the bed, made Irene go to the shower, and rinse off any evidence of the attack. Just before leaving, he threatened her that if she called the cops, he would return. Out of fright, Irene believed the man, and she did not tell anyone of what happened. 1 week later, the sheriff's department got a call from a concerned neighbor of Irene's who saw a piece of their fence was removed, which is how the intruder managed to get into Irene's house without being seen. After the Department of Justice Criminalistics came to Irene's house, they then detected sperm on Irene's mattress, and the evidence was then collected. Thereafter, the Department of Justice got a hit in the initial database. The DNA matched the sperm to one Nathan Herman. Some background on the victim: her name is Irene Baker, an 81-year-old woman who lives alone in the same quiet neighborhood that she's lived in for the past 40 years. For the offender, his name is Nathan Herman. He is 39 years old, and he has been in and out of prison twice now. The arresting officer stated, "From the DNA evidence found against Nathan, it was an easy decision for the sheriff's department to make the arrest. The key factor that contributed to the suspect's arrest was the match to the sperm found at the crime scene to the suspect." The officer also stated, "Arizona is one of the states that has harsh laws and punishments against sex crimes, and it is likely the suspect will be sentenced accordingly by our criminal justice system." The prosecution has decided to charge Mr. Herman with a Class 3 felony of assault with a deadly weapon, a Class 2 felony of elder abuse, and a Class 2 felony of sexual assault. However, since this is the defendant's third strike, meaning he's not been in prison once, but twice now, that the prosecution recommends the defendant serve the maximum sentence, which is 60 years to life without the possibility of parole. Mr. Herman has stated the reasons why he committed the crime that he did was because he felt he was desperate for getting control and power back in his life after being released from prison. Mr. Herman also stated that he felt if he did not leave any evidence, the police would not be able to identify that it was him who committed the crime. Due to the facts of the case, Mr. Herman will be pleading guilty to all charges on account of hoping to get out on good behavior. Using full discretion and taking account of the maximum sentencing for each charge in Arizona, which is 12 years in prison for elder abuse, 28 years for sexual assault, given that this is the offender's third felony, and 15 years for assault with a deadly weapon, the judge has decided to sentence Mr. Herman to a maximum of years in prison, which is 60 years, with the possibility of getting out early, 5 years early, on good behavior, with the exception of being on probation those remaining 5 years. Mr. Herman will also not be allowed within 100 feet of an assisted living facility along with schools and playgrounds.